Thus far in this 3-picture partnership, I've included information on what our watershed is, covered queries as to our county's conservation quagmires, and provided answers as to the extensive implications of our actions. Now, it's time to teach how denizens of the DRC can collectively cure the creek's complications. First, it's essential that I impart an indispensable lesson in environmental ideals: reduce, reuse, and recycle. This most marketed of mantras is more than a diagram of demands. It is arranged in order of impact. All environmental initiatives involve energy in some amount. Reducing reliance on so-called disposables demands the least energy of our vertices of verbs. If you avoid acquiring straws and scraps, you can't contribute to their accumulation. Likewise, reusing your landfill-bound lace leads to less litter entering our ecosystems. Contrasting reduction, reuse still requires the production of an initial item, as well as occasional modification throughout its life cycle. This pillar is why thrifting is considered a kind of conservation, as it fights fast fashion's fascination with filling fling yards. Lastly, recycling requires recrementitious wattage in comparison to our previous corners, though still less than replacing requires. So reduction, reusage, and recyclage are essential strategies in sustainability. While wondrously worked into the world of waste, we also find them worthwhile in the world of water. As with waste, the solutions citizens can contribute to conveniently vary with vocations. So, meet my many Mickeys. Mickey Melville owns about 350 acres. Most of the Melville farm makes maize. Along with this crop of corn comes a few acres of farm friends, pointedly a palindrome of pigs. There are myriad management methods to make the Melville acreage more hydrologically wholesome, without hampering the historically harrowing revenue ranches are reaping and have to hang their hopes on. So let's pick on pigs first. Large rivers already show how harmful pig pollution can be. This water is brown in part due to how much manure enters our accessory waterways. So how do we stop that? Dozens of ideas populate the web, and Swine Republic by Chris Jones speaks at length on the issue, but I'll highlight just a few. First, reducing how much manure is made. This can be done by ditching dry feeders for wet dry feeders. While more expensive, this oxymoronic invention will reduce your water usage over time, saving you money. Additionally, it will reduce liquid manure production, meaning there's less dung to damage your devices and devastate downstream neighbors. With their remaining manure, Mickey Melville may save a couple bucks and use their manure as fertilizer. This is no worse environmentally or less effective than any other animal fertilizer and is extremely economical. As long as he follows these 4 R's, the water will remain safe from fertilization. But these bores only require a relatively runty requisition of realty. Most of Mickey Melville's farm makes maize, after all. How can corn croppers conserve the water they rely on? The answer lies around and under the land. Before Iowa became mostly this, it was almost entirely this or this. Iowa exists as the USA's most modified member. Where once cool, clear creeks ran raggedly across the state, now muddy brown muck fills our fluvials. This change corresponds with and was caused by Iowa's transfiguration. Prairies and wetlands are ferocious fertilizer fixers. They use up nutrients incredibly aggressively. When nutrients enter the ecosystem, they dissolve in water and start sauntering towards their draining stream. The only way to stop the nutrients' entrance into our creek is to use it up. Ideally, Mickey Melville's maize would absorb all that he sprays, but we already know it won't. Instead of ignoring his riparian runoff, we should prepare for it. Time to talk tiling. Tiling takes control of your water table while increasing yields. When water lands on your field, it trickles down into the groundwater. When there's too much, the water table rises and chokes out your crop. While it rises, the increased saturation of the soil makes water more likely to run across the top and into a creek, taking topsoil with it and literally flushing away your farm. By adding in tiling, you increase your yields and decide where the water runs. From there, you can point your output into a patch of prairie or a bioreactor pit to treat your runoff before it drips downstream, helping yourself and your neighbors equally. This tiling technology isn't only for farmers like Mickey Melville. Mickey Michaels also had it added around his foundations to keep his house happy. Let's look at what moves the Michaels can make to protect their provincial purlieu. First and foremost, we have to look at this lawn. Digging into it, we see billions of blades of Kentucky bluegrass, so named because it's neither from Kentucky nor blue. It should be shunned for lying alone. But beyond this falsehood, we see how harmful traditional turf is. Here's a root comparison between native plants and turf grass. See how native plants hold onto their soil? Turf grass just can't compete there. It also makes a horrible home for native wildlife, removing respite for rabbits and robins alike. Turf grass does nothing for the environment except invite invasive geese. If you're wary because turf grass is supposedly better for walking, really think back over the last month. How many times did you actually walk on that grass? If, like most Americans, you only remember the mowing, why bother? Just jump over to the prairie plant party to save yourself the hassle and help your environment. Now we move on to how Mickey Michaels and Mickey McDonald can both help. Mickey McDonald lives in an apartment. Besides the bare minimum of not dumping toxins down the drain, they want to do more. While the Michaels and McDonalds live in very different domiciles, they both take time to vote every few Novembers. Not only that, but they also like to stay aware of what their local governments are doing. Thanks to America's ideals of democracy, they can both bend the government in the way they want. Using this leverage, they can push their city to build bioretention cells, rain gardens, bioswales, and encourage permeable pavements. While the Melvilles can change their land with near complete control, the urbanites have to collectivize and cooperate to increase their conservation efforts. Balancing business and environmental interests is the job of local governance, and the managers of local magistrates must be the many members of the community. It's all of our responsibilities to advocate for cleaner water, to think of our neighbors downstream, and to educate our kids about environmental issues. This video was paid for by the Blackhawk County Soil and Water Conservation District with the help of these sponsors. It was made in collaboration with the University of Northern Iowa and edited by Rowan McCarthy. To view our other videos in this series, click the thumbnails on the screen now, links in the description, or visit www.blackhawkswcd.org/dryrun creek.